So this is the second half to the tutorial. I'm going to show you how to hook the LED up to your Arduino board. So make sure you have all your parts necessary. It's listed in the course materials necessary. And let's get started. We're going to start with the red wire, but let's first look at the breadboard. So you'll notice that there's these tracks that go either horizontally or vertically. The way the tracks go is the direction of the current. So all the tracks that are going downwards, anything that goes into those 5 holes will be connected, and the ones that go horizontally across the top, the ground and power rails, that current will go all the way across along the whole of that top portion. So taking that red jumper wire from earlier, we're going to put it into, so press it quite firmly, into the red power rail along the top. Now taking your Arduino board, you'll notice on it that it has on the side and actually on the board itself it says power, and you're looking for the 5V, so that is 5 volts, and that's where we want the other end of this wire to go. Now we're going to do almost the same again, this time using ground. So take the black wire, which again is typical for doing circuit design, black for ground, and we're going to insert it into the ground rail onto the breadboard, as well as the ground port on the Arduino board itself. So now we've connected the power and ground into our breadboard, which means we've given power along the horizontal track of the power rail and ground along the horizontal track of the ground rail. Now we need one of our resistors. These are 560 ohms, which is what we're using for this particular circuit. And we want it to limit the amount, the amount of power going into the LED, so we don't burn it out or break the LED. So we're going to put one leg of the resistor into the power rail. For the other leg, just choose one of the tracks on the breadboard. It doesn't really matter which one it goes into, but just remember that the tracks now for these ones are going to be running vertically. Now take your LED and let's just have a quick look at the legs of the LED. So the LED will have one leg longer than the other. The longer leg is going to be the positive. We want the longer leg to be connected to the power source, so we're going to put it into the same rail, the same vertical rail, as where we put our resistor, which was plugged directly into our power rail. We then want to connect the shorter leg, which is going to go to ground, so we're going to just bend the legs of the LED a little bit and try and stretch that smaller leg all the way up and push it into that top ground rail. So now we're going to grab our USB cable and we're going to attach it to the Arduino board and we can upload our program. So if you go back to the Arduino program, we're going to look at the examples, go back to basics and select blink. That opens the blink sketch like we saw earlier. Again, make sure you have the correct board selected under Tools menu and also the correct port, which should now be there because we've plugged our board in. Upload the code by selecting the upload arrow, and again looking in the window you can see that it's being uploaded to the board. Now if we have a look again back at the board, we can see that the light is flashing, but it's only flashing on the Arduino board itself. It isn't flashing actually on our breadboard where the LED is, which is what we'd like to happen. So we need to just change our wiring around a little bit. We'll have a look at why it's not working in just a moment, but for now, unplug your Arduino board. It's really good practice to always unplug it every time you change components. And we're going to remove the red power wire that is currently in the 5-volt power rail. And what we're going to do is plug it into pin number 13 on the board. Now when you plug your Arduino back in, you'll notice that the LED is actually flashing. So we're going to have a look at code and see why that happened. Looking at the code, we can see that line 20 says pin mode 13. That means we're using the pin for digital output. We then designate this pin as high to turn it on.